Oracle brings its complete portfolio of public cloud services and Oracle Fusion SaaS applications into your data center so you can reduce data center costs, upgrade legacy applications using modern services, and meet your most demanding data residency and latency requirements.
Get the flexibility you need in performing development and testing, disaster recovery, and production deployments without any changes to application code. And it's autonomous. Eliminate error-prone manual database management and operation tasks with automation driven by artificial intelligence, so you can innovate more and administer less.
Since we could not take our workloads and data to the public cloud, Oracle's dedicated region cloud at customer brought the public cloud to our data and workloads. With Oracle dedicated region clouds at customer, we will bring the newest public cloud innovation of Oracle in country, ensuring the highest level of data privacy for all agencies and citizens in the Sultanate. This was a major decision and not to be taken lightly for the Sultanate. After extensive evaluation with different alternatives, we chose Oracle Cloud Infrastructure because it guarantees data sovereignty, including the ability to manage all of it locally.
We looked at a variety of options, from bespoke private secure clouds right through to establishing our own cloud using hypervisor technology. Ultimately, the choice was pretty simple. There was no other provider out there that provided the range of services that comes with the Oracle Dedicated Region. We believe we can deliver a modern, scalable and secure solution to help address the Australian Government's needs. ADC is excited about working together with Oracle to deliver this new offering that will accelerate our visions of being the provider of choice for a truly Australian-hosted multi-cloud solution.
今回、このビジネスプラットフォームのさらなる価値向上のために、Oracle Dedicated Region Cloud at Customer の導入を決定しました。Exadata がクラウドサービスとして提供されることで、オンプレミスとしての高可用性と維持しつつ、シームレスな拡張などのアジリティが実現できるということです。第3に、Dedicated Region の導入により、オンプレミス環境の運営が大幅に軽減されます。
Get up to 80% reduction in TCO by eliminating manual tasks and leveraging true pay-per-use and Exadata price performance, all while staying on-premises to address regulatory, compliance, and performance needs. The world's #1 database and complete cloud infrastructure, now in your data center with Cloud at Customer.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know you're busy navigating COVID, work, family, and many other priorities, and we really appreciate you taking the time to join us at this virtual summit. The focus of this summit is going to be Oracle Dedicated Region, which is a highly differentiated solution from Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for your on-premises environments. My name is Akshay. I am a Director of Product Marketing at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Our team is focused on product marketing and go-to-market efforts for several Oracle Cloud Infrastructure products, including Dedicated Region. We have many global brands that are using Oracle Cloud Infrastructure today, and I'm really excited to have some of them share with us their stories. First up, we'll have Rand Waldron, who is the VP of OCI Product Development, tell us more about the capabilities and unique value proposition of Dedicated Region. Next, we'll have Australian Data Centres, an innovative company based out of Canberra, Australia. Australian Data Centres is really driving innovation among federal agencies in that part of the world. After that, we'll have an analyst perspective from IDC. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure's product marketing leader, Faye Hutzel, will talk with IDC's Sriram Subramanian. IDC Sriram Subramanian is a recognized expert in the areas of cloud computing and IT infrastructure. We'll have another customer showcase after the analyst perspective. NRI, Nomura Research Institute, will provide an update on their increasing usage of Dedicated Region. NRI is really dreaming up the future and running some of their most critical applications on Dedicated Region today. We'll also have Oracle's Director of Competitive Intelligence, tell us more about what differentiates dedicated region from some of the competing solutions in the market today, including AWS Outposts. I'll be back later in the program to tell you more about how you can get started with dedicated region. For now, I'd like to leave you with this video of Oman ICT Group, one of the customers that is using the solution today.
Oman ICT Group is committed to be a driving force in propelling Oman's ICT sector and playing an active role in contributing to Oman's economic diversification and sustainable development. And we aim to do this by unlocking the full potential of ICT through strategic investments, focused initiatives, bespoke partnership, and fostering the proven talents of Omani citizens. Hence, we have established a professional business model that includes the management of cutting-edge ICT technologies across the Sultanate. This, we believe, will align us with Oman's Vision 2040. And this was further emphasized when His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq addressed the nation on the 23rd of February 2020 and said that his government will be following up on the progress of various sectors, including small and medium enterprises, but specifically those involved in innovation, artificial intelligence, and advanced technologies.
Oracle's innovative approach to cloud is helping us achieve and exceed the goals on this transformative journey. Since we could not take our workloads and data to the public cloud, Oracle's dedicated region cloud at customer brought the public cloud to our data and workloads. With Oracle dedicated region clouds at customer, we will bring the newest public cloud innovation of Oracle in country, ensuring the highest level of data privacy for all agencies and citizens in the Sultanate. This was a major decision and not to be taken lightly for the Sultanate. After extensive evaluation with different alternatives, we chose Oracle Cloud Infrastructure because it guarantees data sovereignty, including the ability to manage all of it locally. OCI as well guarantees strong SLAs even behind our firewalls within our data centers. It also offers the best price performance economics.
Hi everyone, my name is Rand Waldron and I'm responsible for the dedicated region cloud at customer product line here at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. I wanted to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about the dedicated region cloud at customer, what it means to us, and how we decided that this was a product line that would really deliver a lot of value for our customers. What we realized is some of our most important customers globally, enterprises of massive scale, government agencies, really encountered obstacles as they wanted to move towards the cloud. They encountered these obstacles in three key categories. The first was data sovereignty. Some data for some companies, some government agencies really has to stay inside a physical location. That might be inside their country, that might be inside their physically owned premises themselves. We also looked at deep security and control concerns, a need to have these regions, these cloud capabilities behind their own physical security and control, as well as behind their firewall and off of the public internet. And last, we realized that these companies don't all move all of their systems to the internet at the same time. They have many systems that operate as pieces of a whole. They interact with each other on a frequent basis, sometimes many times per second. In order to make that work, the systems have to have really low latency connecting them. Sometimes that just doesn't work when you have a cloud region that's hundreds or thousands of miles away. The only way to make it work is to bring the cloud capabilities to your data center next to your existing on-premises systems. The dedicated region cloud customer product line does exactly that. It brings all of the services you expect from the public cloud, the same services, IaaS, PaaS, and even software as a service. It brings the same cloud architecture, the same operations model, the same SLAs, the same security, and importantly, the exact same billing model. But it brings them to you inside your premises, remotely managed completely like a public region, but the data, your data, never leaves your premises. So where does all this start? Well, what it starts with is our public cloud regions, because a dedicated region cloud customer is nothing more than one of our public cloud regions in your facilities. So we have 29 regions around the world today, and we are growing really fast. And the dedicated region cloud customer is one of those regions brought to you. It's not a smaller region. It's not in some way separate from our overall global footprint. It is one of those regions, complete and total, in your data center. What that means for you is you truly get all of the innovation of our cloud regions, all 60 cloud services that we have today. And we are adding services every single week, every single month. And as we add services to our public regions, those come into our dedicated region cloud customers as well. This means that you aren't sacrificing and trading security, you aren't trading that data sovereignty, you aren't trading that low latency in trade for, well, fine, I have fewer services. In this case, you really get both, all of those services, all of that capability, but in your facility, fully managed by us at Oracle. You also aren't sacrificing price. Oracle has industry-leading cloud economics. We have unmatched performance for the database workloads that we are known and people love us for. We have unmatched price performance for compute and network and storage and the core IaaS functionality. And we have unmatched price performance for high performance internet, for high network throughput, for the really critical applications that run on today's businesses. All of these services run at the same cost in your data center in the dedicated region cloud customer. All we do ask is for a single commitment, not a cost, a commitment of $500,000 per month. So you get an entire Oracle Cloud region with all of our services, all of our continuous innovation, our same SLAs in your data center for only $500,000 a month. And to be clear, that's not an additional fee. That's not something you're paying in addition in order to have this. That's a commitment to consume at our already low cloud economics and prices. Other companies out there have product lines that bring aspects of their cloud to your data center. And I want to highlight for just a moment some of the differences. So we truly bring our entire region, and that means we bring our SLAs, our service level commitments around availability, performance, and manageability exist in our public regions, and they exist in the dedicated region cloud customer. There's even more ways that we distinguish ourselves from some of our competitors' solutions that they bring on premises. I've talked a little bit about how we bring all of our public cloud services on premises. I've talked about our SLAs for performance, manageability, and availability. We also have no dependence back to our commercial cloud regions. That means that we do not have the heart of this dedicated region cloud customer still sitting in our public regions. And finally, we can bring our compliance certifications, our financial compliance, our regulatory compliance certifications to the dedicated region cloud customer in your data center. Today, you're going to hear from 3 of our critical customers. You've already heard from the Omani OICT group. You're going to hear from the Nomura Research Institute, NRI, and the Australian Data Centers, ADC. These customers are really more like partners. They've helped us perfect the dedicated region cloud customer product line and made it into all that it is today. There's one important note that I want to leave you with, and that is that the dedicated region cloud customer allows you to focus on creating business value. You don't have to worry about the trade-off between on-premises and the cloud. You don't have to worry about how you're going to manage all of your critical IT infrastructure. You don't have to worry about these things because Oracle Cloud does it for you. You can focus on what you deliver in your business, what your business advantage is, and what your customers need from you. You can focus on your mission while Oracle runs your cloud. With that, I'll say thank you for your time and attention and enjoy the rest of the show.
Australian Data Centres is a tried and true data centre operating in Australia, in Canberra, the nation's capital. We provide highly sophisticated services to government and commercial tenants. The data centre market has changed dramatically over the last few years, and we increasingly saw that we needed to remain relevant to our clients' business. The influx of the large public cloud companies, Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services, has dramatically changed that environment, particularly for data centres such as ours delivering a traditional high security data centre service. To remain relevant to our clients in this new and fast-changing environment, we needed to be an active partner in enabling the move to cloud. We wanted to offer our clients the choice and access to the world's best cloud services, with best-in-class security, performance, availability and price. We looked at a number of alternatives in the marketplace, right from establishing our own public cloud through to forming alliances with specific Australian private clouds. There was no other provider out there that provided the range of services that comes with the Oracle Dedicated Region Cloud. So the choice ultimately was quite simple. Oracle Dedicated Region was the only service out there, the only product that offered a full range of public cloud functionality through the operational layer existing and operating in our data center. It has all the functionality of a world-class public cloud, totally managed, operated with the operational layer within Australia, delivered across their secure networks, and through the Australian data centre's multi-cloud layer, access to all the multi-cloud services in the country. The full functionality of the Oracle Public Cloud with both the data and operational layers in our data centre offers a highly competitive and very, very persuasive solution to the federal government. This proposition will free up their internal IT departments, allow them greater flexibility in their migration to cloud. It'll bring cost savings, efficiency to the federal government, and it will enable them to truly embrace the cloud-first philosophy that is at the core of their IT strategy. The Oracle Sovereign Cloud is a testament to Oracle's ability to think big at a local level and to do things a little bit differently. It brings to the local market a truly international cloud solution and underpinned by Australian IP. I can't overstate the importance of the collaboration between Australian data centres and Oracle. To bring the capabilities of an international IT corporation together with the delivery of an Australian sovereign company, this will drive innovation, it will drive cloud uptake, it will increase cyber security, and it presents a compelling proposition for cloud migration to the Australian federal government agencies.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Faye Hutzal, Director of Product Marketing for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. I have the pleasure of welcoming to the program Sriram Subramanian from IDC today for a discussion around the value of LCaaS, Local Cloud as a Service, effectively termed by the industry. And this correlates to Oracle's dedicated region, Cloud Customer, and the value of effectively harnessing the entire services of the public cloud within your own data center. So welcome, Sri. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Faye. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Why don't you start with a little bit around your background? What is kind of your infrastructure expertise? And ultimately, what is your role today over at IDC?
Absolutely. I'm Sriram Subramanian. I'm a research director at IDC covering infrastructure and services. My primary areas of coverage are enterprise workloads, private cloud, and private cloud as a service, and AI-enabled workloads. In essence, my area is all spinning around how end users are consuming infrastructure, both on cloud and on premises, for their line of business needs.
Fantastic. And Sri, you recently authored a piece around the value of LCaaS. And in that piece, you highlighted the increasing importance of hybrid cloud infrastructure and ultimately what it means to bring the entire cloud offering to a customer's data center, particularly when they have demanding residency and latency requirements. Can you tell us a little bit more about IDC's findings there?
Absolutely. IDC has been tracking the infrastructure consumption both on-premises and cloud, and it is not surprising that the global adoption of cloud computing is interesting. One of the IDC's data points show that the consumption of public cloud infrastructure is going to beat or surpass that of on-premises. However, what we are also noticing is that majority of enterprise customers are adopting hybrid cloud. In one of the most recent survey, IISP 2020, more than about 60% of enterprise respondents mentioned that they're actively using hybrid cloud infrastructure. Now, what is interesting here is hybrid cloud platforms, the promise of hybrid cloud platforms provide them a choice of infrastructure based on the workload needs. Should they run a particular workload on cloud, or should they run a particular workload on premises or on bare metal? Hybrid cloud platforms provide that choice. So that shows the growth on the use of hybrid cloud infrastructure among enterprises. Now, there is another aspect to that, right? Like what is driving this? Traditionally, enterprise workloads have been limited to data centers, and the workloads tend to be more of consistent usage need. They had very special requirements on high availability, and the workload attributes limited where they can be placed. But with the growth of evolving use cases and applications like AI and ML, the location is changing. Where they can be placed is also changing. And that's where the promise of hybrid cloud comes into picture.
And that's very effective. That's interesting. So you also allude to the disappearing perimeter, right? Effectively, what is that perimeter and why is it going away?
Traditionally, perimeter refers to the data center premises. And as I just mentioned before, most of the enterprise workloads tend to be limited by the traditional data centers, right? And most of the enterprises, that the IT processes, workloads were under the assumption that workloads will be on premises, whether it is IT provisioning, whether it is service requests or troubleshooting, or even the tools and frameworks, they were all optimized around that. However, with the advent of cloud, the workloads started moving away from the perimeter, moving away from the data center, right? So now enterprises have workloads both on premises, on cloud, with a varying proportion, but that kind of expanded the scope of a perimeter, what a perimeter is. But that's just only one aspect of that. Now we are seeing more and more expansion of this location in terms of adopting edge use cases and edge locations. So now we have 3 locations, roughly put, right? The traditional data center, which is called as core, and then public cloud infrastructure, which is the cloud, and then the disparate locations of edge locations, right? So we have a continuum of cloud, core, and edge, and enterprises have their applications and workloads deployed across all these things. Now, essentially, like what was the data center perimeter expanded to include the cloud, include edge locations as well. Thereby, really, there is no perimeter per se, but it's more of a continuum of cloud, core, and edge. That's what I referred by disappearing perimeter. And to think in a different perspective also, right? Like we're all working from home these days, and the pandemic has changed the way that we socialize and we work. So really, like, the workloads, the workforce, the assets, they're all getting distributed. And that's also another side effect of or an influence towards this disappearing perimeter. Per se, there is no perimeter.
Interesting. That's helpful. The whole promise of the cloud, Sri, is to sort of reduce reliance on on-premises IT infrastructure and effectively, private data centers. Yet, it seems pretty counterintuitive, or it seems that way, that we're bringing cloud services to the data center, but there is ultimately market demand or a necessity here, an implicit market demand. Can you tell us why you think this is happening?
Sure. And before that, let me also take a few moments to explain what this LCaaS is, or what local cloud as a service is, right? Earlier, we saw that an increasing usage of hybrid cloud, right? We saw that what is driving that is basically the choice of the right infrastructure paradigm to place the workloads. But we are also observing an increasing pattern of customers wanting the as-a-service abilities, right? The agility, the business agility, and the scale that cloud provides. But they're also met with limitations on where their workloads can be. On one end, the perimeter is disappearing, the workloads are getting disparate. The other hand, they're also having regulatory restrictions or geopolitical restrictions on where their data can reside. So all these things brought in an interesting question. Now, I need the cloud, I need the as-a-service capabilities that the cloud provides. I also like to pay per usage, the OpEx model rather than CapEx model, but I really don't want to leave the on-premises, right? That's when the promise of bringing the public cloud experience into the data center comes into picture, and that's what we call as local cloud as a service. Essentially, local cloud as a service is an offering, it's an on-premises offering, but the infrastructure is owned and managed by the service provider, and the end user consumes only the infrastructure services. They don't have the operational overhead. and then they don't pay upfront for the CapEx, but they're paying for their infrastructure consumption against their usage. So essentially, it's the promise of the cloud on premises. That's what we call as LCAS. And this is more like the proverbial, if the hill does not come to Muhammad, Muhammad goes to the hill, right? So we saw the need for the flexibility, scale, elasticity that the cloud provides, but we see the limitation of data and the applications not leaving the premises. And that's when the market responded with the LCAS offerings. And to begin with, it might sound counterintuitive. It might say that you're bringing in the data centers or you're adding to more data centers, but the operating words are as a service and pay as you go. With the LCAS model, the end user does not own the infrastructure. The service provider, in the case of ODRCC, Oracle owns the infrastructure and manages the infrastructure, so there is no management overhead. The end user consumes as a service, right? They just call programmatic APIs for provisioning and deprovisioning the resources. And finally, they're paying against their usage. Granted, there are some nuances around minimal consumption or minimal commitment, all those things. But the key difference is that they are not relying on, they are not spending their IT resources on managing this infrastructure. They are not having an upfront capex investments, and they are only consuming what they want, and they're paying only for their usage. So that's the nuances of LCAS. So though it might sound counterintuitive to begin with, but the subtlety comes from as a service and pay as you go.
And why don't we talk a little bit more, do a double click here on the use cases of LCAS? And in your opinion, how do you think Oracle's dedicated region is actually catering to some of these use cases?
Thank you. Having said that, the LCAS market is very early on, and the customers that we talk to are primarily experimenting. And then given the ability to what they can run on, limited by what the market is offering, the primary use cases were seem to be around primarily like, web scale or cloud native, or even like, some of the traditional database enterprise workloads trying to move to LCAS offerings. But essentially the services and abilities that were available with the market offerings earlier before ODRCC were limited to a subset of cloud services, right? But with ODRCC offering a complete set of cloud services, the users are in a position to run production case LOB applications. And on top of that, essentially like to put, but whether it is traditional enterprise applications or applications that are trying to move to SaaS model through Oracle Fusion SaaS applications, or even integrating with their existing applications, right? And also your greenfield and net new applications. In essence, ODRCC appears to be able to satisfy or cater to the needs of varied heterogeneous workloads, both on production, greenfield, net new, and cloud native applications.
And would you say that that's how we're differentiating ourselves today with the competition, or is there more?
It is definitely one of your differentiations, given that you have made the OCI, the complete OCI portfolio available on ODRCC. That's definitely an advantage. The other thing also I'm seeing is the ability to keep the control plane on premises, appealing to certain set of customers, not to everybody. Some customers may want to have the centralized control plane on public cloud, but there is going to be a set of customers who, for exactly the geopolitical or regulatory or restrictions, they cannot have their data and control live on premises. So ODRCC provides that ability to keep them completely offline if they want to, or airtight mode if they want to, right? And then finally, the comparison of compliance certifications. What Oracle is making available on ODRCC is also one of the key differentiators. So in summary, the three key differentiators that I see are a more enhanced set of, a complete set of cloud services, and the ability to integrate with SaaS portfolio as well, and an isolated control plane, and the compliance certifications.
Absolutely. Sri, it's interesting, given some of these sort of newer solutions, such as Oracle's dedicated region clouded customer and market, it's very likely that they're going to heavily influence the evolution of the industry. So what's next in this space for us? Where are we headed?
we are, no matter what, we are entering an interesting phase in the adoption of cloud computing. Having said that, I don't have a crystal ball in my hand, but without that, some of the predictions, some of the forecasts that we see are majority of the workloads are going to be based on cloud-based infrastructure, whether it is cloud, public cloud per se, or cloud-based infrastructure such as ODRCC on premises. And then more importantly, majority of infrastructure purchases is going to be in the hands of in the small set of hyperscalers. So those two are a very interesting trends that we are seeing. But more importantly, what I expect to see is that given that it's early phase for LCAS, given that there is a good expertise and good learning from the last 10 years of cloud computing, I expect to see more and more end users taking more of a strategic approach in how they are seeing adopting cloud. I'm seeing them getting better at adopting right infrastructure, right location for the right workload. And that needs some improvement, and I expect to see that happening. So in short, expect to see the end users to gain more technology maturity and being more strategic about their infrastructure placement, workload placement. Majority of workloads getting into cloud-based infrastructure, and then majority of infrastructure purchase being limited to or being taken over by set of hyperscalers, a small set of hyperscalers.
Absolutely. Great insights. Thank you so much for joining us, Sri. We really appreciated your time today. And now let's turn our attention to one of Oracle's global customers, NRI of Japan, who's using Oracle's dedicated region clouded customer.
NRI は日本におけるコンサルティング&システムインテグレーションのリーディングカンパニーです。特に金融マーケットに提供しているさまざまな私たちのビジネスプラットフォームは顧客から非常に高い評価をいただいており、また長年にわたってマーケットシェアでトップを維持しております。今回このビジネスプラットフォームのさらなる価値向上のために Oracle Dedicated Region Cloud at Customer を導入し、2020年10月から利用を開始いたしました。現在、私たちのさまざまなビジネスプラットフォームのこの Dedicated OCI の移行プロジェクトに着手しており、最初のビジネスプラットフォーム SaaS がこの夏にサービスを開始する予定です。さらに、プライマリーサイトに続いてセカンダリーサイトの導入を2021年10月に向けて前倒しで進めております。デディケイテッドリージョンにより私たちは3つの大きなアドバンテージが得られると計画当初に考えておりました。第一に、エクサデータがクラウドサービスとして提供されることで、オンプレミスとしての高可用性を維持しつつ、シームレスな拡張などのアジリティが実現できるということです。次に、さまざまなパブリッククラウドのサービスの中で、デディケイテッドリージョンというソリューションは、私たちはこれまで SOC2 や FISC などを基準に整備してきた高度な金融統制が維持できる唯一と言って良い選択肢です。最後に、デディケイテッドリージョンの導入により、オンプレミス環境の運営が大幅に軽減されるということです。これにより、これまで私たちがオンプレミス環境に導入していたさまざまなリソースが DX などの戦略領域にシフトすることができるようになります。計画当初に想定していたこれらのアドバンテージに加えて、さらにコマーシャル OCI で提供されているさまざまなクラウドネイティブサービスがこのディディケイテッドリージョンでも同じように提供される、利用できるというアドバンテージも得られました。例えばブロックチェーンのサービスやコンテナなどのサービスになります。これらのサービスを活用することで私たちの DX 戦略をさらに推進していくことができます。私たちはこれまで業界に先駆けて最新の技術を導入することで私たちのビジネスを成長してきました。オラクル社の製品についても20年以上にわたり常に最新の製品を私たちの環境に積極的に導入してきており、そのオラクル社のテクノロジーに対しては非常に高い強い信頼を持っております。このデディケイテッドリージョンも世界で初めての試みとなりますけれども、 この技術、そのサービスはこれまで以上に私たちのビジネスのさらなる成長と成功に貢献してくれるものと強く確信しております。
Hi, I'm Brian Nguyen. I'm a Director of Competitive Intelligence at Oracle. Today, I will explain why Oracle is a much better choice than AWS at bringing public cloud services into customer data centers. As shown earlier, most customers find themselves in a tough situation when it comes to cloud. All wants the benefits of the public cloud, but also need the flexibility of location and the assurance that their data always stays on premises. Cloud providers have been unable to meet these needs. Their on-premises offering only bring a subset of cloud services. Not all services are fully protected. They require upfront commitments, and they store customer data publicly. Most of all, they do not provide any metrics for meeting service level targets set by the customer. Dedicated Region Cloud at Customer fills a significant gap. As a provider of cloud infrastructure and mission-critical enterprise software, we have many decades of on-premises experience to bridge these gaps. Let's take a look at how Dedicated Region meet customer requirements better than Outposts from Amazon at bringing public cloud services into customer data centers. If there's one slide you should remember, is this one. Dedicated Region from Oracle is not a shared part of anything, nor a watered down part of something else. And the user data never leaves the user location. It is a precise equivalence of the Oracle public cloud extended to your data center. Outposts from Amazon may share the same architecture and operational model as its public cloud, but it ends there. When customers buy Outposts, they do not get all of Amazon's public cloud services. Billings are also different, requiring customers to commit to a configuration upfront. Their workloads are not fully protected because Outpost has only a subset of security services. Most of all, Amazon has never declared SLAs for Outposts, potentially absolving themselves from any consequences for not meeting targets set by the customer. Let's compare Dedicated Region to Outpost in bringing IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS services on-prem. Unlike Outposts, Dedicated Region bring a full set of services across all three layers of the cloud. At the IaaS level, it supports all VM sizes, all storage services, all workloads, virtualized or non-virtualized. It supports PaaS services, including autonomous database and analytics. It supports enterprise SaaS applications like HCM and ERP, and industry SaaS solutions like automotive and healthcare, something Outpost cannot do. Outpost supports only a subset of Amazon IaaS and PaaS services. In the case of SaaS, it doesn't support them at all. Currently, there are only 5 EC2 instance types and a low-performance storage service on Outpost. Non-virtualized workloads will not run on Outpost because Amazon doesn't support bare metal instances. Finally, there is no autonomous database on Outpost, and it doesn't support Aurora or Redshift, two of its own cloud databases. Let's compare Dedicated Regions to Outpost in performance and pricing. Customer workloads run faster on Dedicated Region than on Outpost. They also pay less to run these workloads. Customers pay the same price to deploy Dedicated Region anywhere, and its billing model is identical to the Oracle public cloud. As shown here, storage performance on Outpost is a fraction of Dedicated Region. On the compute side, Dedicated Region's E3 instance family is much less expensive than Outpost R5 instance family. Going global on Dedicated Regions means no hidden cost variances because customers pay the same price in all geographies. This is important because they want cost predictability to plan their budgets and run their business. We also do not ask customers to commit to a configuration upfront like Outpost. Let's compare Dedicated Region to Outpost in meeting service level targets. SLAs otherwise known as service level agreements, are important metrics because they set clear and measurable standards. If the product fails to meet SLAs, there are consequences to the vendor to fulfill these commitments. While Amazon has never declared SLAs for Outposts, Oracle provides end-to-end financially backed SLAs for dedicated regions in 3 areas: availability, performance, and manageability. Customers gain the peace of mind knowing their workloads will perform at a high level backed by Oracle. Without SLAs for Outposts, Amazon would not be held accountable for failing to meet any service level targets. Customers should be concerned before deploying Outposts in mission-critical environments. Let's compare dedicated region to Outposts in data sovereignty and security. Data sovereignty is the idea that data are subject to the laws and governance structures within the nation these data are generated. Customers in regulated industries like banks and healthcare have additional data residency requirements and security concerns. Customers' workload running on dedicated region never leave their data centers. All data generated on-site are backed up on-site. They're also better protected because dedicated region inherits a full set of security services from the Oracle Public Cloud. Unlike dedicated region, customers' data generated on Outposts, such as instance ID, the time they spend on that instance, monitoring metrics, tags, metering records, etc., are sent to the AWS Public Cloud. Database backups and snapshots are also stored in the AWS Public Cloud. Finally, customer data and workloads are not fully protected because Outposts does not support a full set of security services. Thanks for spending your time with me today. Oracle Dedicated Region Cloud at Customer brings all of Oracle's public cloud services into customer data centers. Customers get the exact same billings, same architecture, same operations, same SLAs, same security services as the Oracle Public Cloud. No other cloud providers can deliver such a broad set of services in the industry today. Thank you.
All right, we covered quite a bit with you today. Let me provide a quick recap. First up, we had Rand Waldron tell us about 3 requirements of enterprise and public sector customers: data sovereignty, security and control, and low latency. We also had 2 customer perspectives. The first one was from Australian data centers, and Dedicated Region has been helping this customer meet their data sovereignty and security and control needs. NRI, Nomura Research Institute, has been leveraging Dedicated Region because it provides them the low latency and it also helps them meet their compliance requirements. After that, we had an analyst perspective from IDC Sriram Subramanian. Sriram walked through the challenges that IT leaders face with adopting the public cloud and why solutions like Dedicated Region are the ideal option for such needs. We also had a presentation about the differentiation of Dedicated Region, particularly as it compares to AWS Outposts. On this slide, I've also provided you a link to the Dedicated Region solution page. On this page, you can learn more about the product. So here are some next steps. I'd like to encourage you to schedule a virtual briefing with one of our cloud experts. The virtual briefing is the ideal opportunity for leaders in IT, CIOs and CFOs to discuss your unique circumstances for on-premises infrastructure and cloud adoption. You can also experience Dedicated Region by simply taking the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free tier. Although the free tier is hosted in the public cloud, it'll give you a very good idea of what services will be available in Dedicated Region. If you want to look for additional resources related to Dedicated Region, please feel free to check out the Virtual Resource Center. And be sure to look for future summits by going to oracle.com/cloud platform. I thank you so much for joining us today at this virtual summit for dedicated region. I hope to meet you soon at a virtual briefing or see you at our next summit. We also have for you right now a poll question. Please let us know if you'd recommend this event to your colleagues and your friends. Thank you and take care.